Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Workbench here at Scale Models Midwest. As always, I'm David, and as always, I'm hoping you're having a great weekend building the cool kits. Now, I got a couple kits on my bench, and I've got another one to show you that will get built sometime during this summer. I think you're going to really like that one. These are two pretty quick builds. Probably have them done basically by the end of the week, by the next video. The kits, I'm building one. It's kind of like a kit with a story, and I'll give you the basic background on that here in a moment. But the second one I'm building is one of the kits of the month that came from Savinos JR, and I thought it'd be kind of cool kit to put this one together pretty quickly. I've got a friend of mine at the Taekwondo studio. I'd like to give this kit to them and just say, hey, you know, thanks for being a great student, and here you go, and maybe inspire them to build a cool kit of their own. The first one we'll just go ahead and get started with is the Savinos JR Kyle Petty 83 Pontiac Grand Prix. It's a nice colorful car, and it's the number 711. The kit came as the kit of the month, I think, last month. I'd like to have it for my own collection, but as you can see up top here, I have plenty of Savinos JR's kits to build for some time to come. I'm building the kit for a gift for a friend of mine, and like I said, I've got pretty much the paint booth is taken care of. I've got all the painting done for the most part, and I'll just do the touch-up paint detail afterwards. The paint is just from Rattle can, TS26 Pure White. I've got about 3 coats of that, and I thought I'd have to mask and paint the orange, but Savinos JR took care of that for us, and they have very well done power slide decals right here for the rear of the car, as well as for any part that has the orange 711. In addition to that, they have naturally a super cool decal sheet, and the registry on these decals is just fantastic. I do like the Savinos JR kits an awful lot, the old ones and the new ones, even the ones like this one, where I believe these are the 124 scale kits. They were purchased Revell monogram molds from the 80s, which at the time were considered some of the best NASCAR stock car kits to build ever. So they bought the molds and they're repackaging them, kind of retooling things sometimes and getting them built. This one will probably go together just as well as the other ones, and yeah, I'm gonna have some fun with that. But that's going to be one kit. The second one here, I'm going to go ahead and move the Grand Prix out of the way. The second one is another one of my kits with a story, or build with a backstory, what are you going to call it? If you remember this kid who had the Nova that he built at the station, well, this is one of his friends. This friend wants to race this car, and they want to take it out to the strip, but they are going, you know, what am I going to do? How am I going to put this together? They saw this car sitting out in the back 40 at their parents' acreage, and Dad had told them long ago about how he used to race cars, and this was one of the cars he raced back in the 70s and early 80s, long before they ever came into existence. So they thought it'd be kind of cool to build this car up. Dad thought, you know what, good deal, great, you know, father and child bonding experience. So that's what they're going to do. They went on ahead and got the old Ford 8N tractor and dragged this car that had long been abandoned back up to the workshop, and they're going to go on ahead and start working on it. They got inspired by watching some YouTube videos of David Freeberger and Tony Dulcich building the crop duster, and while this one's not the Duster, this is actually MPC's 71 Demon, which you can still see at your local hobby shop, or if you got a Walmart nearby, they've got them there too. I would recommend going to your local hobby shop first. Might be a little bit more expensive, but the local hobby shop is where it's at. You can get all your paints and supplies there, as well as the kits. You might spend a little more on the kit, but in the long run, it's going to be worth it because you're keeping the local hobby shops in business. And with that, I wanted to kind of give you some things to look out for if you're building this kit. Now, as you can see, I've already got, again, I've got 3 coats of TS26 Pure White on this after I had put on a couple base coats of light gray primer from Tamiya, sanded it out with 3200 grit, and now I've got it masked so I can paint the black, including the hood. It's going to be painted flat black with the surround, goes around just like that. If you do some research on this and you kind of search for crop duster, David Freeberger, Tony Dulcich, whatever, you'll see pictures where they've actually got this as well. And I've got to kind of trim this just a little bit more before I paint it. But I'm going to go flat black, and I am going to do that. And they come with the little hood scoops, which I think they're cool. They're cool, but you know, this can be a little 340 screaming small block, and you don't need those hood scoops just yet. So I'm going to kind of play with that a bit. I have an idea on using some of the rims that came out of that Coca-Cola Willis truck, which unfortunately met an untimely demise where it got dropped and then a heavy box fell on top of it. So no more Willis pickup. Although the chassis will live on under something else, the engine will live on under something else, I did manage to save tires and rims, so I'm thinking on using them for this. But it also comes with its own set of tires and wheels, rallies, and what look like Kragers. So it's a pretty cool kit. The body of this kit, great. Just had to clean up a couple little mold lines, sand down the tops, kind of knock down the edge. The interior, it's just a basic platform. You know, I've got it right here along with parts ready to paint. Little 340 small block, I've got it put together. I'm going to paint that the competition orange. And really, the only kind of qualm I had about this one was it has really not an awful lot of suspension detail. I mean, typical of some of the era, even the monogram ones, you got that one piece rear axle, springs, and exhaust. So you're going to have to do a lot of paint detailing on that one. No problem. The front, I got mixed feelings on it. One, so I'll have to cut off an edge there. Hang on real quick. Done. I'll sand that off. But you can see the torsion bar suspension, which the Chrysler products were well known for. They were also well known for having, especially in the Dusters and Demons, I know because I owned one, where the front end would really fold under heavy duty use. So yeah, and it's just very basic here. When I looked at the instructions, it said glue it in, and yet the little pin that's going to go in place won't go through because there's no hole drilled through that or through the side. So I'm going to use pins of my own to mount them, and I think this actually will in effect lower the front end, so I'm thinking that I'll be okay with that. So again, I've got a couple metal pins that I can super glue into this and use them to mount the front end. The rear end, I'm going to use slicks as well as deeper rims. So I'm going to make sure that they clear it before I really get into putting this thing together. Otherwise, it's not a bad kit. Heavy sprues, which also mean heavy injector marks in some areas where you have to really clean them up a bit. But their decal sheet also looks pretty good. Dashboard looks good. I think it'll be a nice little kit to put together. I've got a tack from another car that I can use to put on the dashboard. But ultimately, this is going to kind of mimic what Freeberger did with the crop duster. And I know his, I think, has a 440. This was just going to be a little 340. So it's great for the kid who's wanting to get into racing like their dad did, do some bracket racing on the weekends because they got a local strip. So there you go. Now, I want to show you another kit before I go. This one is really cool. I got this about a month ago. I don't have an actual picture of what it looks like completed, but I want to show you it nonetheless. So give me a sec. Just get the bags out real quick. That. All done on 3D parts. There's that. And then finally, a body and chassis. So we'll get this out and show you what we got. For starters, we'll save the body and chassis for last. For starters, it is a square body Chevy, and it's like a drift truck, or a truck that would probably run at Pikes Peak. But look at the detail on that front end. Definitely a great starting point right there. Second part, 3D printed roll cage for the cab of the Chevy. And a lot of these, you know, sprue attachment that's not part of the actual kit, I'm sure you could save that and use it for something else. You know, if you want to build kind of like a Mad Max style vehicle or not, I don't know, but I'm going to save a lot of this for future projects. The bags, they already had stuff that was printed, pulled out. Engine block right there. Hopefully I've got that showing up in the camera. Got that. More bracing for a roll cage or to go around the truck. Let's go ahead and dump all this out. And that would be the roll cage part for the back for the bed of the truck. Then you know, kind of keep going. There's some vents which go into the hood. There's 2 sets of those right there. It'll require a little bit of cleanup. There's drive shaft. There is, looks like the yeah, tie rod. More parts there. Steering rack, and then here, a lot of ancillary pieces. Start with this one. The detail on that. It's gonna look really good. This is definitely something that I'll work on over the summer. There is a lot of other components in there, pieces and what have you. Looks nice. Then we get into the second bag, where the tires and rims, they're 2-piece. There's a third one for the insert. I'll go ahead and just dump this out so you can see what those will look like. Look at all that, all those wonderful parts. So anyhow, we've got this. I saw that, and there you go. I think I got it the one way. Doesn't matter. Looks good. Anyhow, tire and rim. Got 4 of those. Pretty well set up. Exhaust. Again, very, very well detailed. These 3D kits are just getting better and better. I would love to someday buy a 3D printer and some resin and just have a go at it, but you know, for now I'm going to go on ahead and support those who have them and are selling parts or kits, because that gets them to invest more in their tooling and, you know, again, supporting the hobby. That transmission. The detail in the 3D kits are phenomenal. They're just getting better and better. Last year I bought one of the Joel Mendoza limited run Corvette summer Corvettes, which I still have on my shelf, and I will build that someday, just not right now because I've got to get paint codes and stuff figured out. Turbos and the exhaust for that. That's just nice. There's a wing, you know, side panels, and look at that interior. I mean, that is phenomenal. I mean, if you had just a regular kit, you would be scratch building an awful lot of stuff. But here, this is a 3D printed kit. It's got everything pretty much that you really need. You just have some fun from there. There's the dashboard, the computer screen for your layout, and I'm sure I can find some decals for it. But as I keep going on, you know, accessory drive belts. There's the hood, and we'll just go on ahead and put the hood on the truck. And I mean, it's got some good heft to this too. So there is the 3D printed cab of this truck. All right, if you put the grill in place, It might be upside down, but right now it's just for the sake of display. Maybe. Okay, whatever. Anyhow, just hold that there in place. This is the cab of the square body Chevy. It has fender flares already molded in place. It's got the holes in place too. And right here in the back, if you see, it says Black Box STL. That's one of the files that I've been seeing an awful lot of. That's, I guess, one of the big names out there as far as your 3D print files are concerned. So if this is the kind of quality you're seeing out of them, then definitely something to look at and consider. I have never built a 3D kit, even from Jimmy Flintstone. I mean, not a 3D kit, a resin kit, even from Jimmy Flintstone or Model House from years back. I'm only now getting into this here because I started buying parts off of Joel Mendoza from the 3D printing that he's got. Engines, tires and rims. I also went with Model Works. Their rims and are phenomenal as well. So, like, yeah, there you go. The truck bed already has brackets molded in place to fit on the chassis. And the chassis, I mean, wait till you see this thing. The chassis rear end is in place, already molded in, 3D printed. Everything, upper, lower control arms. The front end, the front end cage, if you will, this surrounds the engine. This thing is just wow. And then of course you put the truck on top of it. This thing is just going to look sweet when it is done. I'll try and put this all together somehow. I'll just figure something. Maybe not. Anyhow, but yeah, I mean, put this together is going to look really good. And a kit like this is this detailed, you definitely want to take your time, build it right, and it'll look really good at a contest table or just on your shelf. That's what I've always planned to do with my kits, is just build them for the shelf. Occasionally I'll take one to a contest now. I've been to a couple, haven't won anything since, but it's always good to show them off. But that's what that thing's going to look like once it's built. Don't know what I'll color it yet. I kind of like the old style Chevy two-tone paint job, where it's like you had this white on the side and then whatever body color you had, blue, red, whatever. So I don't know, that I might just do a custom mix, but it's definitely gonna get sprayed. So Terry, yeah, this one's gonna get sprayed and we're gonna have some fun with that one. Anyhow, that's all I got for today. Basically, I'm gonna put this stuff away for now. I've got some other things to work on. I've got some errands to run. I got a grocery list of paints that I've got to pick up because I ran out. And always at the wrong time. I was in the middle of painting parts for the Demon, and I ran out of like my TS6, my TS29. I ran out of gunmetal, some of the stuff that I'm not going to airbrush. So I've got to pick up a couple bottles of each and just have that as a backup. And then once these are done, back to my airbrush, back to some new kits that I've been working on in the background. So in the meantime, keep building the cool kits. Hope you like what we're doing here. Like and subscribe, tell your friends about it, and we will catch you in the next video. Have a great rest of the weekend.